The Metis Tech Show.
Welcome to the Metis Tech Show, a show for HVAC professionals by HVAC professionals.
I like how you guys bounce back and forth between heat pump talk and food talk.
The Metis Tech Show.
Mitsubishi.
All right, so we are at the 2025, ACTE Career Tech Vision. ACTE is his Association for Career Technical Education. This is basically a trade show for anybody that teaches any trade at any school. We got a booth here. We teamed up with our automation people. That's Mitsubishi Automation. They're the robotics folks. We got
Mitsubishi Electric Foundation.
Mitsubishi Foundation.
This is our second time, Paul.
Yeah,
so
second time here. Last year where were we last year?
Last year we were in San Antonio.
San Antonio. We got to see the Alamo, and you asked to see the basement, and they laughed at you.
Yeah. I
And
didn't realize the Alamo was in the middle of high-rise buildings.
Yeah.
That was kind of a bummer.
It's kind of like Paul Revere's house.
I just thought I expected it to be out in the desert with tumbleweeds.
It was.
and stuff. And, at one time.
At one time when they had the battle there, it was.
But when you told me, you want to see the Alamo? It's 5 minutes, according to my GPS, and I'm like, we're standing in the middle of high-rise buildings. How can it be 5 minutes from here?
Yeah, it's right there. Well, you go to Paul Revere's house in Boston; it's surrounded by these big things. Anyway, but we're in Nashville. We're at the Opryland Resort, it's just a huge hotel. I was told it's the largest hotel that's not attached to a casino. I mean, and when we were with the DSG conference in October, we thought that Kalahari was huge. This dwarfs that. This is like little mini towns, like 4 or 5 of them inside a building with a dome.
You can say there's a mall, and there's a mini mall in this. I don't even call it mini.
No, this place is huge. When I got to my room last night, I was talking to my wife, and I had 12,000 steps yesterday on my phone, and she was mad because she only got 9,000 with her thing. Because usually it's a contest. I usually get 125, and she usually gets 12,000. So that's the thing. But we're here in Nashville. This is a resort, so it's resort things, and so it was funny because yesterday we decided, they have a breakfast buffet, so we went in there and we ate, and none of us, usually, this is unusual for me anyway, and I think for you guys too, we weren't that hungry. And when you say buffet, usually I'm like, okay, but we ate, each of us just went up one time, right? And we get the check, and I'm like, guess how much this is? You guys are like, $70-$80. It was $120. It was over. I forget what it was, but it was basically almost $40 a person for breakfast. And had we known that, I would have gone up like 12 times. I don't care if I was hungry or not. But it's what you get
to go back up and get more.
Yeah, it's what you get at a resort. I paid $14 for a bottle of water, or a liter of water. So we'll get that going for me.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. I told my wife, she goes, what? I said, yeah, so it's what you get for a resort,
Yeah. I got 2 energy drinks, and it was, I think $11 a piece for the energy drinks.
Yeah. You know what's funny?
Wild.
Gas hits $4 a gallon. People are up in arms.
Yeah.
They have no problem paying $50 a gallon for water. So,
as long as it's at a resort.
I guess.
The breakfast was really good, though.
It was.
I was impressed.
You had the scrambled eggs, you had the bacon, you had
buffet style,
sausage.
it was good.
No, it was very good. You got, of course, we're in the South, so you get the biscuits and gravy with 4 different kinds of gravy. I don't even know what that it means. And we have to talk to Trey Whetstone about that because he's the one that gave us the biscuits and gravy recipe.
All right.
But I don't know, they had sawmill gravy and some other things, and they had a bunch of jams and jellies, like a dozen different kinds. It was jalapeno, and there was bacon, and there was all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah.
They had a pancake station, an omelet station, a waffle station. It was just...
I'm all about the eggs, Benny. The eggs.
The eggs Benny.
They had the fried egg on it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's. So I threw some of that sawmill gravy on it.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more disappointed I am that I only went up once. It's like we should have taken advantage of that, not just because of the price, but just because it looked so good. But
we got to take it easy. There's a lot going on.
We're going to pace ourselves.
Yeah.
One thing we haven't hit yet, which we've said, we're not leaving Nashville without going to Hattie B's.
No.
Yes.
We got to go to Hattie B's. Last time I was in Nashville, I stopped there, and it's wicked good. And
The first night we did what? What was the place? Foul something.
Party Foul.
Party
Which
Foul.
had Nashville hot.
Yeah, it
flavored
had
stuff.
that chicken.
That chicken was
Yeah,
hot.
it
It was a
lingered.
different hot.
No,
It was a different heat that I'm used to.
The thing about that heat that surprised me is you take a bite and it's not hot right away. It doesn't burn right away. But after you chew it and swallow it and you're sitting there talking and it lingers and it kind of sneaks up on you. It's kind of like,
creeps on you.
yeah, it's kind of like, well, but it was flavorful and it was crispy. And that was good. And then I had the hot chicken with beignets.
Oh, yeah.
No, so listen, when you go to New Orleans to get beignets, not Nashville, and I don't want to badmouth the beignets. They were flavorful, but they were just air inside. It was like they felt so. The ones in New Orleans are like donut-y
Yes.
inside.
Yes. Yeah, it's kind of
So live and learn.
they were good.
Yeah.
I like the food
I'd
there.
order that again. It was
Yeah.
good service. It was a nice place. You know, the one thing, you guys went out to the car and I went to use the restroom, and when I was walking out, they had Monday Night Football game on. And they were playing the national anthem, and I was surprised there were people, which is the way it should be done, but there were people standing up
In the restaurant.
in the restaurant
Yeah.
because the national anthem was playing on TV. How often do you see that?
Never. Unless you're at the game.
Unless you're at the game.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to point something out for some of you that are seeing this on video on YouTube. We got an on-air lighted sign that I'm very excited about.
Yes.
So we're like getting really professional with this now.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, so it means nothing.
Means nothing.
It
right?
means nothing. People
'cause
walking
people will
by.
just come right up and be like,
Yeah.
you know,
And we got people laying flooring right next to us. So.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
the
got
lights
a.
just got up.
Oh,
So
the
you might
lights
notice
just-
the brightness.
Did the lights just go up?
Yeah, they
Or am I
did,
having
yeah.
a stroke? Something just happened.
Yeah.
Like really bright in
Hey,
here.
nothing wrong with
so
that.
what time does it start? What time do people start filtering
I
in
think
here?
10 o'clock. I
10
think
a.m.
another
Yeah.
2 hours.
And you won't be able to hear us.
No, you won't be able to hear us. That's why we're doing this now. And there's some cool things. So the booth next to us, maybe we'll put a picture up.
Yeah.
The
I
booth,
will.
the booth next to us is all about learning and training on electric vehicles. And there's a pickup truck there that looks like it's from the 50s.
Yep.
It's a
Yes.
2025. It's a brand new, I forget what it's called, the classic, and it's an electric vehicle, and it's got a sticker on it. So I go to look at the sticker. Guess what the base price is? Well, you know what the base price is. We'll put a picture of this here, but it's $250,000 base price.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful truck. It looks retro. It looks like it's from the. It looks like
it looks like a restored classic, like old Ford pickup.
it looks like something that you would see on American Graffiti, which is before your time. You have no idea what I'm talking about. It's a movie,
Yes.
and
Yeah, Ron Howard.
Ron Howard was in it. I think it's his first after Opie. Wasn't Fonzie in that
Richard
too?
Dreyfuss.
Oh yeah, wasn't Fonzie in it too?
Fonzie, he was. I think he was in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
there was all the people. A lot of people from Happy Days
Yeah.
were on it, and
Yeah,
yeah,
that was a good.
Yeah.
It's a
Thing
good
has,
movie.
The reason I even looked was because it's a beautiful looking truck, and I'm like, oh, what the heck is this thing? And I'm looking at the MSRP sticker that they have in the windows, and it says efficiency, and it was on a scale of 1 to 10, and it was at 10. And I'm like, how is an old pickup truck getting a 10 score for efficiency?
It doesn't
And I'm
use
like,
gas.
this has got to be an EV.
It doesn't use
Sure
gas.
enough,
Yeah.
EV, and it was a 128 mile range. So that's like you're going to the grocery store on a Sunday. I mean, $250,000. Like
If you're gonna listen,
you're driving that around the block.
first of all, the clearance from the ground to the bottom of the
Yeah.
truck is about 4 inches.
Yeah,
So you're not using this in one pothole, you're done.
yeah.
In Massachusetts, you're not driving this thing because there's potholes everywhere. You're going to bottom it out. You can't go through an inch of snow.
Yeah, it is a beautiful truck.
It is beautiful. It's nice to have.
It's got
but-
the old wood bed.
yeah.
So yeah, it's very cool.
I mean, if I had $250,000 that I could lose without noticing it, I might consider it. You know, but I notice $1.50 when I'm losing it. I can't eat for the week. Anyway, welcome everybody to the Metis Tech Show. So a little bit before we get into this, a little bit of an announcement. Next week is Christmas, and we will not have an episode next week. We're going to be with our families. I think all of us have the week off, and we took some vacation days to coincide with a holiday. So there will not be an episode Christmas week. I think it's Christmas Eve is the Wednesday.
sorry, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick, you're going to have to,
Find something else to do.
Meli Kaliki. How's that song go? No,
You got it? What was that?
Yeah, whatever. I can hear Bing Crosby sing it now, but
Buddha's saying, "Shut up."
and
how
we're
you
up.
say it.
Yeah, we're up in the air about New Year's week. If we release an episode, we're going to talk about it after this. But if we release an episode, I think it's going to be more of a high level, not so technical. Maybe some entertainment value in there. Maybe just a high level review of what we got. We'll figure it out, but
Year in review kind of thing.
yeah, but. We promise right after the new year, the first Wednesday in January, we'll be back with a brand new episode. Brand new for you, not for us, because we recorded a bunch of them. We'll see, because we did a bunch at the DSG conference. I think we still got one or two to go. We were at the Heat Pump Summit in November. We got a few.
Excited about those.
I'm excited. Just a little teaser.
Secret special guest on.
Yeah. We won't tell you who it is, but there's some really good episodes coming out of there. And we're at the ACTI thing here. This is our first episode coming out of here. And because we're here with the automation and the Mitsubishi Foundation folks, we're going to be doing some things for them and give them some videos and some audio files that they can put on their YouTube pages. So we'll see what... we don't really have anything planned as usual. We're just going to kind of wing it.
Yeah.
That's it.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So what are we going to talk about this episode?
We're going to talk about the X Generation City Multi equipment.
That's right.
So this is the long-awaited. We
Yes.
went through the A2L transition for M&P, and starting January 1st next year, we have the transition for.
I don't think the first.
City Multi.
I don't know if it's the first, but it's
Or
January. It's January, beginning of the year anyway. But the training.
Well, commercial, the A2L regulation is what
Right.
we're talking about. That's
Right. Oh,
beginning
yes.
of 27.
Yes. And our training will be ready January. So we're going to give that out to our instructors, our DSG instructors, medicine instructors. They'll be teaching the new course, hopefully, starting in January.
Yep.
The refrigerant is R32.
Mm-hmm.
R32 does not have any propane in it.
Let's get that out of the way.
Yes.
You're kidding.
You know what really aggravates me?
Propane based?
You know what really aggravates me? There are these, I'm just going to call them idiots because I can't say a-holes. There are these idiots online posting videos of what they claim is a fire caused by A2L. It's obviously fake. It's obviously AI. And for what purpose? What purpose are they serving except scaring a bunch of people who don't know?
To hurt the industry.
Yeah,
That's all
so
it does.
if you're posting those pictures, stop it because you're a moron. Okay.
Tell us how you really feel, Paul.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bryn, you've been like swimming in the R32 VRF world for the last 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, pretty much since we knew about it and we started to get. When we had the factory training, that was in July, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was kind of when it started, and me and Scott originally had the plan to tag team it.
The late Scott Tallman.
Yeah, and then Scott left, and so I've been kind of doing it on my own with some help from other departments, which has been really helpful. But yeah, so gonna get a good idea of what to expect, what's changed, because there are a lot of changes, more so I think than even the M&P. There's the wiring has changed entirely, certain piping rules and all that stuff. The way that we do Y series has changed. So I just want to cover some of it. It's not obviously going to be really in depth because we want you to come to the training. This is just to kind of give you an idea of what's changing, what kind of new things to look at.
These are some of the things you need to know. And we're going to have the in-person training. We're going to have an e-learning, like an overview. Hey, here's what you need to know in case you can't come to training before the next install, your first install. But
and that should be out before or right around the new year.
Right. So let's take it one at a time. What's the first thing? Let's take it.
Well, so the main difference is just talking about the unit components. So City Multi R2 systems, same outdoor units. They look a little different, but similar sizing. They don't go quite up as high. I think we used to do 432 tons. Tons, and now we're only at 384. So I'm sorry, not tons, 1,000 BTUs. We used to be 432, now we're down to 384, and that's just because it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. We're not going to get a whole lot between that 384 and 432 that it used to be. With the refrigerant guidelines and the limitations, the charges start to get too high, and it's just going to be almost impossible at that point. So we did reduce that. They changed some of the configurations of the R2 systems, and even the Y series. No more 3 outdoor unit systems. Those are gone forever. We're no longer ever doing those.
So it's just single and twin.
You got it.
Oh, that's
so. The cool thing about that is obviously, for anybody who's ever worked on those 3 outdoor unit systems, The refrigerant management is a lot more challenging. So that going away is awesome. I think it simplifies troubleshooting. It simplifies the refrigerant management. The R2 system still has the branch controller. The branch controller is almost identical. It's almost exactly the same. The flow of refrigerant through it is exactly the same. However, that big solenoid valve block that we used to use to control whether we were in heating and cooling was replaced with all LEVs.
Right.
So
Which I think is better.
here's the thing I like about it is it increased the footprint. So instead of it being a rectangular shape, it's getting closer to a square shape. It's I think they said like 3 millimeters taller. So as far as vertical clearance, it's negligible.
3 millimeters. If that makes a
Yeah.
difference for you, you got a problem.
It's lighter.
Well, that's the thing.
Well,
That's what I was
because
going to get into. Is
That
the
solenoid
that
valve
large.
block was all that
Yeah.
brass.
That's exactly what I was going to say is with a 16-port solenoid valve block, that thing is heavy as heck. But now it's all LEVs. So when we had one in at the factory training, it was a 10-port, I believe. And I just picked it up and walked around with it by myself, no problem. So the weight change compared to the slightly larger footprint is like
But
night and day.
at first glance, looking at all of those LEVs, it's kind of
It is.
intimidating. It's like, whoa, look at this. Well,
Yeah.
3 LEVs per port. It's like, what's
Yeah.
going on here?
Yeah, I think it's more serviceable too than before.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's like anything else, depending on what you give yourself for clearance
Right.
on the service
Well,
side.
you have to have your clearance
Yeah.
to access it.
You know, well, unfortunately, the manuals sometimes will say, yeah, make sure it's at least 3 inches of clearance on the top. You're supposed to get a solenoid valve block out of there.
Well, let's go back to the outdoor unit where you
Yeah.
started talking about what I love about the outdoor unit is now the electrical panel is back to the old school.
Yes.
Yes.
The
We
original.
went back to a
All-
3-sided coil.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
No more stuffing all the circuit boards in a box.
Correct.
They're all laid out right in
Right
front of
across
you in
the
the
front.
top half of the.
If you've ever worked on
condensing
a
unit.
L-gen or K-gen, that's what it is.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
like
like that. They
Yeah,
went
I
back
like
to
that
the
too.
3-sided coil. It's a vertical coil. And the other cool thing about it is it's modular. So it's technically 3 segments, but those 3 segments are not one rounded, like bended copper to make those 3
so
sides.
look, parallel coils.
Yeah, you can actually take out sections of coil. So if you had a leak on one portion of that coil, you don't have to replace the whole outdoor coil. It's just one panel.
I
So
think
it's
that's
3.
nice.
It's modular. It's 3 different panels that are just brazed together.
Now I heard something through the grapevine. I don't know if this is true, but the outdoor units are factory twinned.
They have some.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's in the nomenclature, but they have some that are factory twinned, and what those are is we have our L modules and our XL modules. The XL modules, which are our larger systems, rather than them making a whole separate outdoor unit, it's essentially 2 outdoor units, it's 2 smaller module outdoor units that were factory twinned together.
So no twinning kit.
So no twinning kit in that case.
Fantastic.
The MNet is already run. So you're just running TB3 at the outdoor unit to the branch controller, as opposed to having to run MNet on TB3 and TB3 and TB7 to TB7. It's all done for you behind they're underneath. There's like a plinth, like almost like a stand.
Nice.
And underneath that is the twinning kit and the MNet wire already run.
And it's all hidden away, so no
Nope.
one could stand on the pipes or anything.
Nope.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that.
So
Who
there
would
will-
stand on them? Nobody stands on them.
There still will be factory twinning, or I'm sorry, there will still be twinning in the field, but it's just going to depend on the size. But we have some of our XL module units; those are factory twinned, so all that stuff is already taken care of, which is nice. You still have to address each outdoor unit, even though it's factory twinned. You'll still have to address them, but the MNet between the two has already been run.
Yeah, because that
So
was
it
a big pet
simplifies
peeve of mine
installation.
is, working at the hospital years ago, they would come in, install brand new units, bring all the piping out in front, whether it was copper, Victaulic. Insulators would come in and do this beautiful art of an insulation job on this pipe. And the first guys to go and work on this unit, to hit the reset button, would stand on the piping and crush everything.
Yeah.
Kidding.
That's what we mean by standing on the pipes.
Yeah.
It's hidden, it's underneath the units.
Yep. So yeah, the that kind of stuff is good. I think overall it improves our footprint for outdoor units just because we had the factory twinned units. In general, all of our outdoor units are slightly smaller. So for the most part, it's actually going to improve the footprint, which means you can put more units on a roof. You can fit more on there. The benefit to that is because of the refrigerant guidelines, as far as maximum refrigerant in certain spaces, it in some cases is going to make it easier to just go with smaller systems like 14 ton and below, as opposed to trying to fit these large, high tonnage systems, it might end up making more sense to just have smaller individual systems just for the,
Gotcha.
the footprint aspect and making sure that we keep our refrigerant charge down.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about that, just in general, is that if you do have to go that route because of the refrigerant concentration limits, when you have that type of setup, you could have all of your branch controllers from all of your individual systems in one room. The guidelines only state you have to factor in the highest refrigerant charge in the system. So you don't have to factor in, like, let's say you've got a 100 square foot room, which is small, but 100 square foot room where you're putting all those branch controllers. The only one that you have to make sure is in compliance is the system with the largest amount of charge. You don't have to account for all of it. So it doesn't really change a whole lot. You might just have more branch controllers in a mechanical room.
And let's talk about the branch controllers. If there's a leak on one circuit
Yep.
and there's a sensor at the indoor head, there's a shutoff valve that's going to shut off the refrigerant to that head, right?
An LEV.
An
Yeah,
LEV.
so that when the branch controllers, the reason we switched to those LEVs
Right,
is
and
because
that's
of that.
built in to the branch to the BC.
Yep.
But what if it's a Y series? Let's talk about how we're going to do that on a Y series that doesn't have a branch controller.
Yeah. So Y series, because they don't have the branch controllers, they don't have the means to isolate at the the distribution box. Really, is we have what's called shutoff valve kits.
SVK.
Yep. SVK for short. And what that essentially is just a box with a liquid and gas pass through. So liquid gas line in, liquid gas line out, and the only thing between them are LEVs. And so if one of the indoor units that's attached to that SVK, meaning piped to it, and if one of those units detects a leak, it's going to shut down those shutoff valve kits. Now, it's a little bit different with Smart Multi, but we'll stick with just Y Series for now. It's going to shut off that shutoff valve kit, and essentially that isolates that system.
Pumps it down. Is that what it's doing?
No.
Just
no.
shuts it off.
Just shuts off the liquid and gas line. That's Smart Multi. That's what I'm saying. Smart Multi is a whole different.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
All right.
whole
Okay.
different rule for the
Yeah,
6, 8, and 10 ton.
That's another episode.
It really is. We'll have Ralph on for that because
Yeah.
he's been
Yeah.
digging into that stuff.
Yeah.
But
We have to have Ralph on?
of course.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
that's
the
fine.
product champ.
I know. I love Ralph. I'm just teasing.
So no, in this case, it's just going to shut the liquid and gas line on that shutoff valve kit, and then all indoor units attached to that, unfortunately, are out of commission. So the SVKs or shutoff valve kits can have up to 8 indoor units or 96,000 BTUs attached to it. So you might have 3 or 4 indoor units on it, and if one of those indoor units detects a leak, the whole system's that whole portion of the system is gonna go down, but the rest of the system remains operational. So all your other indoor units on the system on separate shutoff valve kits, those are all gonna stay operational. Those will run, and part of that is a pain in the butt. Even with the indoor units on a branch controller, it's kind of a pain that it isolates the system and it doesn't run. But here's the nice thing about it: think about troubleshooting a system with 32 indoor units, and there's a leak because the pressures are off and your TH4 is high. What do? You're going to have to go through every
Everything,
single
yeah.
indoor unit to try to find that leak, whereas now it tells you.
Yeah.
You've got a controller that's saying, hey, there's a
Does the
leak at this indoor
investigating
unit.
for you.
Yeah. So
So going back to
that makes a huge difference.
the mitigation strategy for R32 for the R2 system.
Yep.
Are we pumping down with those LEVs in the branch controller?
No. So
Those are just shutting off as well. Okay.
So basically, you have LEV L, A, and B in that branch controller. LEV L stands for liquid. It's your liquid line. So coming out of the branch controller, it passes through that LEV. Without a leak, it's wide open. But in the event of a leak, LEV L shuts completely down, and then LEV A is still for air conditioning,
Yep.
and then LEV B would be for heating. So depending on the mode, well, in the case of a leak, they both close.
They both close.
And now we've isolated that run. And so
Okay.
your indoor unit, your line set, all that stuff is isolated. Rest of the system stays operational. Again, nice thing about that is you know exactly where your leak is in that system, and the system doesn't go down during operate. Everybody else still comfortable. It's just that one indoor unit. And as long as you have ball valves on there, the system stays operational while you fix the leak. All right, you really don't have to pull it down turn it off for a few minutes after the repair.
Yeah.
So
Don't be a fool.
I think I want to go back in the truck now. It's getting easier to work on these things. Because I was lazy before, but I think it's getting easier. I'm okay now.
Let's not talk crazy, Paul.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going in the truck.
Yeah.
I can't even fit in the truck.
So that's some of the updates on the branch controller. We added the shutoff valve kits for Y series and the 3-phase Smart Multi, or at least Smart Multi with commercial heads.
Okay.
With the indoor units, all of them are going to have a refrigerant sensor, just like we have on the M&P, but no field installation of any refrigerant sensors
Good.
for the indoor units. All of them are pre-installed. All you have to do is
So every
Wired up.
one of our indoor units,
Correct.
wall units, all of that.
Everything.
Okay.
Good.
Yep. The only time you would ever have to procure it is if you were using our LEV kit. So the LEV kit will come, essentially it's the same LEV, but the control box now has an input for a third-party refrigerant sensor. And the reason why we can't provide it is because we don't know where it
Where
is,
it's going.
where it's going to go out, what type of coil we're using, if it's an RTU that's been converted, or if it's just a panel coil or an air handler. There's too many variables. So we have the input for it. You just have to provide that refrigerant sensor mounted in the proper location, which is going to be downstream, right? And
Yeah.
across the airflow, you want it in the airflow. And then we have the input for it so that if that system were to, develop a leak, it can isolate it from the R2 system.
So, all right. Any other significant changes having to deal with piping or refrigerant?
Not really changes. The thing that will become more important is just paying attention to where you decide to put your branch controllers and your shutoff valve kits. And the reason for that is because that is where the isolation occurs, whether it's at the shutoff valve kit or the branch controller. So if an indoor unit develops a leak and we isolate back at the branch controller, all the refrigerant in that piping will potentially leak into that space as well. And so in some cases, because of the room size, you may have to put your shutoff valve kit closer so that when it isolates, there's less piping in the refrigerant, or less refrigerant in the piping. And so that's a consideration to be made. However, Diamond System Builder is accounting for all of that stuff. It's making the calculation of that refrigerant volume in the piping. It will tell you actually what the maximum releasable charge is per indoor unit based on your piping length, the size of the unit, all of that stuff. So it's making all these calculations. So we've said it a million times, even with M&P, but commercial is no different. If you're trying to build a system or install a system without DSB, you're probably going to make a mistake.
Yeah.
This thing is like doing everything it can to foolproof it.
And I've said this before. If you show up on a job to install a City Multi system and you do not have a DSB, do not start the job. I'm telling you, you're going and you're going to fail. Don't start the job without a DSB, and then take that DSB design that somebody said, "Oh, this is how I think it's going to get installed," and take that and track it and write down everything that you change, and then build a proper as-built. Because that's how you're going to get the charge. That's going to help you diagnosing and troubleshooting later. We need an as-built. You're going to need it for extended warranty. So you have to have a DSB. Don't even start it.
Yeah.
Call somebody and say, "I don't have a DSB. Where do I start?" Because you're going to fail.
Now, especially now, because it's not just a matter of will this work, is it safe? And that's the thing that you have to pay attention to, is that the whole thing that DSB is doing, as well as all the things it's always done, as far as calculating refrigerant charge, giving us our estimated heating and cooling capacities, all the great stuff that DSB has, it now gives you safety information of, hey, based on your room size, the refrigerant's too much or you're within tolerance. And so that's the other added benefit, is keeping the system safe.
Okay. So, what other changes can contractors expect with this system as far as looking at addressing and wiring?
Oh yeah, let's talk
Yeah.
about the MNet.
I was going to get there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is probably the biggest change. I don't think on the installation side it's going to be too crazy as far as running piping and all that stuff. What is really going to be the drastic change is the MNet. What we used to do, obviously, is TB3 at the outdoor unit to our branch controller at TB2, and then TB5 on all your indoor units, and it was a daisy chain, right? Just run one to the next, to the next, to the next. Now, each branch controller or shutoff valve kit will have 2 MNet terminal blocks. The first MNet terminal block is still terminal block 2. So you'll go from your outdoor unit to terminal block 2 on each of your branch controllers, or SVKs if it's a Y series. So you're just going to do that daisy chain. But then there's a separate terminal block on either the branch controller or the shutoff valve kit called terminal block 3. And that is where you're going to start a brand new daisy chain to all the indoor units that are piped to that SVK or branch controller. And the reason for that is it's changing, especially with shutoff valve kits, although you should do it for both, you have to do it for both. The reason for that is that when you start that new daisy chain, it lets the system know, hey, there is an indoor unit attached to this this indoor unit is attached to that particular shutoff valve kit. So if this indoor unit develops a leak, shut off that shutoff valve kit. Otherwise, it's guessing, right? It doesn't know where in the system it is. It just knows it's an indoor unit. Once you have it on that new terminal block 3 of the Are you okay?
No, there's a one-eyed cowboy over there looking at our stuff. I'm not even joking.
I'm looking at Steve. I'm looking at
Yeah,
you
I'm
guys
looking
both
at
look
Paul,
over.
and Paul's like,
No, I'm sorry, but those of you watching on the video, I was a little distracted. I'm looking over. I'm looking. Well,
he's now right behind you. So
okay. So listen, I'm not even joking. There's a guy here with a cowboy hat, and he's got an eye patch, and he was grabbing our stuff, and I was just distracted. So anyway, let's go
I just
back.
wanted to make sure there wasn't something more pressing.
It's okay, Paul. The stuff is for.
No, but he really was there. I'm telling you,
It's free.
It's free. It's giveaways.
it wasn't. Okay, we just digressed really.
Okay,
bad.
so-
Sorry.
You want to get back on track?
Yeah,
You
what
ready?
were we
Okay.
talking about? I missed the last 5 minutes.
Yeah,
of what
no,
you were saying.
I noticed. So, yeah, the terminal block 3 on the branch controller or shutoff valve kit allows the system to know where or what component the indoor units are attached to. And that way, in the event of a leak, it's isolating the proper system. So that's the main purpose of it. But again, the basics are if you've got, let's say, a Y series with 2 shutoff valve kits on it, you're going to run from terminal block 3 of your outdoor unit to terminal block 2 on each of those shutoff valve kits. That's the end of your daisy chain. And then on each of those shutoff valve kits, you're going to run from terminal block 3 to terminal block 5 on all indoor units attached to that shutoff valve kit. Now, if one of those indoor units detects a leak, it sends that information back to the shutoff valve kit. It can isolate the right unit. Otherwise, you run into problems where, you have it not set up that way, or let's say you put an indoor unit on the other daisy chain of that shutoff valve kit. When that one develops a leak, it's going to shut off the wrong one, and now you're going to lose the whole charge in the system.
So this is important because
Very important.
Because
That's why I was surprised I lost you.
if you've installed City Multi before previous generations, the MNet's been the MNet since the beginning. It's always been a daisy chain. If you install this like that, you're going to have to redo it because you're probably not going to read the Fantastic Manual. And if you don't go to the training, if you don't listen to this podcast, so if you're out there and you know somebody who's going to install the XGen, make sure they know. Send them to this episode. Or even better, send them the training or let them read the manual because it's pretty laid out.
Yeah, we're gonna have
Yes.
to deal with some of that happening at the beginning.
Yeah.
And No one told me. Well, you should have. It was right in the
Yeah.
manual.
Well,
Well, here's the thing: is DSB has the CAD drawings and the wiring schematics, and it has it already done. I've tested it even when it was in beta. They had that taken care of
And
very
if you don't
early on.
use
So there you go.
DSB, shame on you.
Yeah.
Right?
So it does lay that out for you. The other thing too is that part of these startup procedures, we talk about verifying port assignments by switching an indoor unit or closing solenoid valves on the 410 systems. You close the solenoid valves one at a time to make sure that the branch assignment is attached to the right port.
Right.
That's all the same, but there's now an additional startup procedure where you can go into Maintenance Tool and do what's called a safety measure against refrigerant leak. And essentially what you do is when you enter into that program, it will ask you which outdoor unit you want to start with. You click your outdoor unit, and it will pull up all branch controllers or shutoff valve kits on that system that it found. And then when you click on one, it will show all indoor units that are attached to it based on the way that you have it wired. And then you actually go through the test. It says circuit complete, good job, or you have a failure. Now, this helps if you cross-reference that with your Diamond System Builder to say, okay, this is what I am supposed to have. This is what it's showing me on Maintenance Tool. Did I accidentally wire an indoor unit to the wrong shutoff valve kit?
Fantastic.
And so, there's an added step for your startup
So
procedure that Maintenance
you've
Tool takes
seen
care of.
Maintenance Tool
Mhm.
on this new system.
Yeah.
Because I know you were traveling to Georgia trying to get one hooked up.
Yes. Yeah.
And there was a new version of Maintenance Tool that so you've seen it. Is it changed drastically as far as how it looks?
No.
Okay.
No, it'll look the same. Obviously, the SVA, B, and C going across on the branch controllers is switched to LEV A and B. But other than that,
Let's
no, it's
revisit that
very
though, because
similar.
you just said something. If you're going to work on this, you need to download the newest version of Maintenance Tool.
Yep.
The old version of Maintenance Tool will not work on the XGen. So I don't know that it's posted.
It'll
yet.
still connect. It just won't have all the
Right.
updated software
have the data.
requirements and the information.
Is that
so-
uploaded yet? The new version?
I have to double check. I don't think so.
Yeah. It should be by January.
Yes, it's very close, but it's version 5.57.
Though. January.
And what about
January is 2 weeks
addressing?
away.
Any changes to addressing?
No.
Nothing.
Nope.
Fantastic.
So the addressing's
Okay.
exactly the same, except for obviously with shutoff valve kits, they need an address. That's going to be, 151 to 200. and we got rid of ME controllers. And now I don't
say, is it going to be a conflict with the sub ME?
yeah. So the ME controllers right now are not supported. I think the controls team is trying to work on how we can get them supported, but at the moment, we cannot put any ME controllers on the X generation equipment.
All right.
So I've been here 10 years, and I've seen the L generation, the K generation.
You've been here 10 years?
Almost, yeah. Just about to make 10 years. So the L generation, the K generation, the
H.
N generation.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're at X.
Yes.
What happened to all the other?
Was he? So
I know.
You know what I can't wait for, Paul, is when they come out with the Gen Z.
Gen Z.
That's gonna be the coolest unit.
The
I
Gen
think.
Z, it won't do a thing. It's just
Won't
gonna
work.
sit there. It's just gonna sit there and do nothing.
No.
For the Gen Z.
No,
Kidding.
Yes.
Kidding.
No,
No, it'll
I'm
just be
kidding.
really
For all you
smart.
Gen Zers, I'm just kidding. As far as you know.
It'll be an AI outdoor unit.
Yeah. So I've only been here like 4 years longer than you, and I remember the H and the J. Oh, the G generation. I've seen
Right.
those.
Those are.
too.
I don't think I've ever laid eyes on those units in person.
Yeah, I think when I started here, we had the J gen was what we just switched from. I think the H to the J, and they were pretty cool too. But then I've seen some older on the field, some older G generations. But yeah, it's interesting. This is like the automotive industry. They come out with a new model, except we don't do it every year. We probably do it every 3 or 4 or 5 years. But it's interesting to see how they evolve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just across the board, some other things that are kind of interesting is the hyperheat has gotten better. So our hyperheats go to lower temperature. Well, I actually learned this. Kane White was talking about with our N generation. There was actually an improvement in capacity as we started to get cooler. But then once we got below a certain temperature, it dropped off. So we actually had like over 100% capacity with the hyperheat units to a certain temperature. And once it got below that, it started to ramp down. The X generation stays 100% until like I think another 5 degrees lower. It's like negative 13, and then we start to see that drop off with a hard cutoff at negative 22. So there's an improvement there. Another thing that is pretty awesome. Typically, all of our outdoor units in cooling mode are 100% capacity to 95 degrees. This has a function setting that you can enable where you can have it 100% to 109 degrees.
Wow.
So
109
those
degrees.
Britain's always full of Easter eggs.
Yeah,
I was like,
surprises.
this is awesome. I thought it was so cool. So obviously, I think it's going to affect your efficiency. But in those hot climates, when you need the cooling, getting that 100% at 109 degrees, I mean, where in the country do we see that?
Right.
It's like Arizona, Nevada.
Yeah.
But those places now are
dry
going to
heat.
get the 100% capacity.
Anything new with USB flash drives, things like that?
Good question.
Function settings.
So there's some added function settings. 768 is one of them. That's a required function setting. So after you do your initial test run, you have to turn on 768. What that does is if there's a communication error with any of the indoor units, it's going to isolate it. And that's the same thing we had with Smart Multi on the M&P, which is if we can't communicate with it and it develops a leak, can't shut it off. And so now out of abundance of caution, you turn on 768. If that indoor unit loses communication, it's going to shut off LEV, L and A and B just to isolate it. And then it will give you the error saying, hey, you got a communication fault. So that's one of them. There are some function settings on both the indoor units and the outdoor unit for CN52 and CN51. And what it does is pins 3 and 5 typically put out 12 volts DC in the event of any error. Now, when we enable those function settings, can't remember them off the top of my head, but when you enable those function settings, it changes the logic on that output to only put out the 12 volts on pins 3 and 5 when there is a refrigerant-related error. And the reason for that is now we can use that to a relay and energize exhaust fans. We can, energize alarming, whatever we want to do, but it gives us an output for a third party, either mitigation strategy or alarming system.
So is there still a flash drive for?
The flash drive on the outdoor unit still exists.
That still exists,
Yep,
okay.
for pulling information, for firmware updates. They added a USB port on the branch controllers, but that is only for firmware.
Okay.
So you can't pull your data from it, but I think it's probably just so that we can maybe not be outside when we're doing firmware updates. Depending on the weather, it might make more sense to do it inside. So there's now a USB port on the branch controllers.
Very cool.
Yeah, and one other thing, we also have a new central controller, the AE400. Is it the AE400?
AE400. Yep.
AE400. That's also it's out already. So probably do another controls podcast on that. But I want to let everybody know that.
Yeah.
Have any manuals or data books or information been uploaded to Mitsubishi Pro yet?
No, not yet.
Nothing yet.
No.
So
they will.
another
Coming
thing to
very
keep
soon,
in mind.
but, yeah.
I've said it before. My link drive. It's a matter of
Going
time
away.
before it's going to just disappear.
Actually,
vaporize.
none of the new manuals are going on my link drive at all. My link drive is only previous generations. It will go away, and it's going to go away very soon.
Yeah.
So
and I know there's a lot of resistance to that. Here's
It's
the
change.
thing. Here's the thing. Mitsubishi Pro is getting added to every week. So
day.
for those of you who say like, oh yeah, but Mitsubishi Pro doesn't have the app notes I use all the time. Well, it does now.
Yep.
Well, it doesn't have the software. Actually, there's a whole. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom of Mitsubishi Pro, it says software, and it has all the software listed. In fact, if you want the most recent maintenance tool, you have to get it through Mitsubishi Pro. You cannot get the most updated maintenance tool software from MyLink Drive anymore.
And we are listening to everyone. Where it's growing, like you said, day by day. It's getting better. Everybody loves the visuals on my link drive, and Mitsubishi Pro is getting there. We're going to get there, and it's going to be 10 times better.
Yeah, but the thing with that though is even with the images, think about it like when you're shopping on Amazon. Like it's nice to have the images, but it's also very helpful to be able to filter
Right.
through what you're looking for.
Yes.
You know, if you click on, let's say you're looking for a wall mount, commercial wall mount, PKFY, you put that in the search bar, you're going to get hundreds of results. Hundreds. So you can say, no, I want a 410A one, and I want it to be this much capacity. You can filter down and look at for your exact indoor unit.
Right.
So even if you're not really great with model numbers and you have a hard time remembering them, or you don't want to, search while you're looking at it, just remember it's a 12K wall mount. Look it up.
The resistance,
Use the filters.
The resistance is because it's new and it's change. So you really, honestly, you got to get over that. My link drive, it might even be gone by the time we air this podcast because it's going very soon. It's not going to be months. It's not going to be months and months. It's going to be weeks. So get used to M Pro. Sit there, spend a half hour getting used to it.
It grew on me.
Yeah, it does grow on you. But the thing is, you don't have a choice. Stop complaining about my link drive.
Yeah, another fantastic option that you'll have on Mitsubishi Pro is the use of AI.
Yeah.
So just to be able to go in and say, hey, what's the maximum line length on a PUY 24,000 BTU?
That's
whatever.
coming. I don't think that's ready
It's
yet.
not yet.
But that's
but
coming.
it's coming, and it'll pull all of the information right out of the
Yeah,
service. And
it's basically you ask a question, it's going to search the whole database and give you some answers. Is it going to be 100%? No, but it's probably going to help you. A lot. I'm sorry, just distractions here.
There's also the parts software, the replacement parts software. So now if you look up an outdoor unit, it will tell you all of the replacement parts for every single component, and then the cross-reference. So if you're looking for a component and you look up a part number, it will show you all the indoor or all the units that it is compatible with.
Right.
So that's really helpful too. So they're adding to it, and the nice thing about Mitsubishi Pro is they are able to make changes. With MyLink Drive, once it was up, they couldn't really change much about it.
Yeah.
Mitsubishi Pro is always growing, and they're able to make changes a lot quicker.
Yeah,
It's a more dynamic.
And my
website.
link drive is very fragile. It's basically being held together with spit and chewing gum. It really is. And that's one of the reasons we have to switch. I don't even know what the technical word is, but whatever platform they used or software they used, it's outdated, it's fragile, and it's basically ready to burst, which is why the number one reason why we had to make the change.
Yeah.
But I think it's a better change. So
Yeah.
I think that pretty much covers
Yeah,
it.
there is a ton of stuff. This is, I think, a good way to start.
Yeah.
I imagine anticipate some questions, which I'm looking forward to, because then we can start
We can
do a follow up,
we can do
dig
it,
in a little
yeah.
bit more like we did with the M&P version.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's some big changes, especially on the installation side, making sure that you get your MNet wired correctly, making sure that you have your shutoff valve kits for Y series and larger smart multis. But at the end of the day, it's more efficient. An easier diagnosis as far as I'm concerned. So
If you're wondering about
issues.
smart multis, we will get Ralph on here.
Yeah, we'll do another episode with that the next year.
Yeah.
And if you're listening, the audio version, go ahead to the YouTube page and watch this, because I should say, if the video works, because the one we released recently, we couldn't get the video to
Yeah,
work.
didn't
But
video pull in.
if this video works, and we're hoping it does, we're going to have some of the diagrams we talked about, some of the images, a picture of the truck that we talked about.
Yeah.
And if you guys can do me a favor, just so people don't think I'm crazy, put a picture of the one-eyed cowboy on here. Because
He
it's
just,
not. Yeah.
He just walked away. I think he's like
He works here.
He's like a adhesive repairman.
Oh,
He's got like a
okay.
little backpack and like 6 rolls of tape.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
He was helping put
But
carpet
yeah,
down.
he's like
maybe.
the real deal. He has, like these like high tech knee pads on.
Yeah.
He's got this cowboy hat with a feather sticking out the back. He's got an eye patch, and it looks like he's gone through.
Yeah.
It's
You
like a
want-
Nashville
like he's like
pirate.
he's-
You want to hear a cute story?
Wrangled up some cattle at some point.
When my son was 3 years old, he was going to go. We had a classmate, this little girl the same age as him. I don't want to say the name, but he was going to go play with. It was a play date they had, and he was all excited to go on his first play date with this girl in his class. So I go, Christopher. I said, what are you going to play? And he goes, Pirates. Now this little girl just had eye surgery, and she had an eye patch.
Oh, okay.
Right, so she's probably self-conscious of us. I go, Christopher, I don't think she's going to want to play Pirates. He looked at me, dead serious. He says, Dad, she has an eye patch. In his mind, what else could we play?
I love kids'
no,
logic.
yeah,
It's
it
just-
is. It was so cute. I said, okay, Christopher, let's not play Pirates. Okay, let's let her come up with that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Anyway, so let's go to Hattie B's tonight.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think we got to tear up Broadway. One of these nights, we got to get Steve on Broadway. Steve, the musician, has never been, correct?
What?
Right. Yeah, no. I was so excited being a musician and showing up at the Nashville airport, and all I seen was every other person had
Yeah.
a guitar strapped to their back.
Yeah.
And they're just probably, trying to become famous, coming to Nashville, and it's just fantastic. So yeah, I got to go to Broadway.
I like to see the Ryman Auditorium, the old Grand Ole Opry, the original one, because I'm not a fan of new country music, the contemporary stuff. I like the old stuff. I like George
Stuff popping with your
Jones,
hands
and Jim Reeves, and Waylon and Willie, and that's what I
So
like.
I got a chance to play on stage with John Rich, country singer John Rich from Big and Rich,
Yeah.
and he has a club here called Redneck Riviera, and he told me that when we were hanging out smoking cigars outside of Gillette Stadium, he told me, he said, "Hey, well, next time you're down, come to Redneck Riviera." And he said, "I'll set you up with some cowboy boots and everything." So I got to hold him to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna
Smart.
walk in there, and he's gonna say, "Who are you?"
Yeah, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
We played together, I swear.
Security.
I got a picture to prove it, so I can say,
There you
"Hey, yeah, here I am."
We'll get it printed out.
All right, everybody, thanks, and we'll see you next one. Everybody have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.